Hello everyone, this is El Spectre. Welcome back to the Land of Empires. I've been gone for a few weeks because my old laptop suddenly broke. I've had that laptop with me for the past probably 6, 7 years, but suddenly it just died on me. The screen turned off and I couldn't do anything about it. So right now I have a temporary replacement laptop and I'm trying out kind of a new recording mic that my company gave me. It is a mic combined with the headset, so it's definitely more convenient to record these videos as opposed to, having to use my hand to bring the microphone closer to my mouth. I don't really have my microphone stand. When I was traveling back from Houston to Boston, it simply weighed too much, so I didn't bring it with me. So now I am trying out a new microphone. So hopefully it'll work properly. But anyways, in this video, I want to kind of talk about something a little different. And I think this is a good opportunity to talk about what it would take to beat one of the top two alliances in the Land of Empires. And these top two alliances are definitely BBB from server 47 and NXS from server 69. Now, NXS does appear to be in the lead, especially in recent times, as they had a lot of big players join their faction. We can take a quick look at their base. But beating these alliances are not about the players themselves. I would say it is a combination between the players, which are definitely very tough to contend against. You can have maybe a few Glorious 15, Tier 13 castles in your typical alliance, but NXS and BBB, they are full of them. And not only are they full of Glorious 15 Tier 13 players, they are also full of near maxed players. And right now, near maxed players are represented by around a total power of between 250 and 260 million. So you can see Killer Bunny here as well as me myself. We are both pretty close to being maxed. And that has a big effect whether it's rally, solo attacks, and the overall trade efficiency. And trade efficiency is one of the big elements I want to focus on in this video because the Holy Mountain Battle is just one of the game modes. You also want to know whether you have any chance at contending against these alliances or how you may want to contend against these alliances in the Battle of Destiny, Battle of Disorder, and potentially other game modes. So now I kind of want to explain what I mean by the kind of ability to sustain oneself if you are in this alliance. So alliance is not only about its players, it's also about the resources. And you can see exactly how many resources I have. And since I am making this video, I might as well take this chance to use the resources I've gathered in my inventory for a while. Although I certainly have more than enough resources to carry myself through the upcoming Holy Mountain battle, I think it's a good chance to see how high I can push myself. So right now I have 42 billion food, 41 billion wood, 4.3 billion stone, which is very lackluster, and 7.8 billion iron. A majority of this iron was actually obtained from burning other players, especially early on in the game. Since about a year and a half ago, I don't really burn people anymore due to mostly the lack of time. But yeah, I'm still shaving down my stock of iron, which started at the highest point. I had about 12 billion. Now it's down to 7.8 billion iron, I might say. So you can really see how much these big battles can drag down your resources. So let's spend everything I have. So that is 512 million food, another 1 billion. You can see I kind of used these at some point. That is a very nice 7 billion. And I definitely did not save these from the very start of the game. That would be pretty insane. I wonder which player actually never used their resource consumables. So now we move on to the wood. And actually, I'm not too sure whether I've ever used my iron. I might have. We're about to find out. If I get a crazy amount of iron, that would mean that I've never used them. But if I just get like a measly amount, that would indicate that I did use them at some point or multiple points. So that is all my stone consumables down. And now, I mean, I'm looking at the fact that I only have 577 of the 100 iron nodules. I think I did use them at some point. But that is a nice 720 million, another 1.5 billion, which is actually quite a decent amount. You can see I'm making this video because I'm out of dragon coins. But anyways, it is also a fun idea to talk about, I think. And I think a lot of people will enjoy something like this. So it actually did not increase my resources by much, although I did get a lot of stone, which is very helpful because stone has actually been one of my recently limiting resources. Because when we go to heal, not only does it consume wood, of course, it consumes all the other resources. And once you are frequently participating in these big battles as one of the carry players in your alliance. Some people would like to call them big whales, but these accounts may not be brought up by the alliance themselves. But anyways, resources, they have, or I should say both NXS and BBB, and I'm sure this is also true for many other alliances. We have systematic ways of maintaining our resources, whether it's the resource themselves or sustainable resources in the form of healing. You can see I have about 11,000 healing. Now, for newer players, that might seem like a lot, but this amount is about, in an intense battle disorder fight, maybe a couple hours worth of resources. I can burn through this within a couple hours. And yes, this might indeed shock some newer players, but this is how battles go at the highest level in the Land of Empires. Now, the way that alliances can sustain this is a lot of top alliances, especially NXS and to some extent BBB. We have resource farms. Those farm resources for us, but also healing resources. So a majority of the healing consumables will come from the Eternal Tower. Now, unfortunately, the Eternal Tower is no longer running once every was it every week or every 2 weeks? I don't really pay attention to this that much, so I might be making a fool out of myself here, but I'm just gonna guess. The Eternal Tower was a once every 2 week event before. Now it is only a once a month event. Now, especially when it was once every 2 weeks, players got a lot of healing from them due to having like a set of a couple dozen farms. You can just have your farms, collect up to 10,000 dice. And you can kind of get an idea of that if we take a look at the rankings. This is just absolutely insane. If we assume that each dice gives you an average of 3 or 3.5, you divide this number by 3.5 and it's close to freaking 10,000 dice. So these people have saved 10,000 dice for this singular instance of the event. And you can imagine how many heals or consumable heals he can collect from this amount of dice. The answer is a lot. And what ends up happening is that these accounts, they share the heals with the entire alliance, and you can collect up to 100 a day. So this is true for any alliance. Any alliance can do this. You collect up to 100 a day by sending these out, spamming these, but of course it will be from a farm account, and your alliance will be collecting these healing speedups. You can collect 100 a day, and the average you can collect is about 5. If you're earlier to the game, you can collect more than 5. What the heck? Okay, I thought that general was the last person, but if you are the last person, typically the maximum amount you can get is 5, and more typically, the amount that you can expect is 3. If you're early, you can expect about 6 or 7 on average, but let's just use the number 5. So every month, if you are good at collecting, or you have your ways of collecting, I won't go too deep into that, but you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. Then you can collect 500 a day, times that by 30. What is that? You can collect 15,000 heals per month. So this is exactly where you're contending against. And alliances who have not had any difficulty in these events, which currently is not the case because BBB and NXS, they will definitely wear each other out. And I mean, in the case they don't, I mean, even if they do, they can still, their players can still gather over 500 heals a day. And that quickly adds up. So whenever you're facing NXS without the presence of BBB or BBB without the presence of NXS, these alliances will not have their rival to contend, like to balance each other out. And as a result, you will be left, or you and your four other potential allies will clash in a 4 or 5v1 against NXS. And you're not going to win. That is just the bottom line. I think it's going to take a lot at this point to break either the rank number 1 NXS or the rank number 2 BBB. We can take a look, quick look at the quality of players. Overall, the quality is very high, partially because they have really not raised the Lord power limit by much. I think the last time that they raised the Lord power limit, it was nearly almost 2 years ago. I have that number down somewhere in my spreadsheet, but I'm not going to take the time to go check now. But it was definitely over a year ago. So a lot of players are maxed nowadays. So when maxed players face off, the bottom line will be how much resources you have. And if you are, I know some of the new alliances may be excited to potentially challenge top alliances currently in the game. You should consider how good your sustain is. And I can guarantee you that the sustain within top alliances is very, very strong. If you cannot manage, if you cannot formulate a system where all of your top players can gather at least maybe 200, 300 heals a day, you're going to have a hard time. Your top players are not going to have heals. They're going to need to buy heals, which is ridiculously expensive, I think. It costs about $100 or $80 with the discount for about 600 heals. So this value, this amount is what? Almost $1,000 worth. And I can collect this in under a month. So that is kind of what you're dealing with. But if you still think that you stand a chance, you are welcome to join the general pool and eventually climb yourself up the ranks and one day face either BBB, NXS, or some other alliances, because the balance of powers, I think, is always shifting, which is, I think, good for the game overall. Although the kind of the centralization of power is also kind of a thing. BBB, or maybe not BBB, but NXS did not used to be this strong. I think overall BBB is slightly weaker than it was from its peak, but it's still fairly close to its peak, I would say. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Ooh, am I missing out on heals? I am certainly missing out on heals. Hopefully I got them early, but it doesn't look to be the case. If we go take a look at these. Oh, I actually reached my limit. That's not very good, because I do believe I started around 400 today. So I didn't really do a good job collecting, because I only collected around 400 heals when the average should be 500. Since you can only collect 500 a day and you catch one of these heal spams, I would say it's best to, either claim in terms of singles, because I kind of noticed that when I click claim all, I get fewer than what I would get if I got singles. I don't know how it works, but that is just my observation. But of course, if you can claim early, that is better than claiming later. Now, I don't really have much planned in terms of this video, but I'm sure that this Saturday is going to be quite exciting. I'm not going to be recording, unfortunately, because I will be at the company gym doing my walking exercises, and yeah, it's not going to be a good chance for me to record. So if anyone from BBB or NXS is watching this, feel free to record the Saturday clash. I most likely will be participating, and I'm sure it's going to be fun for both sides. Overall, I don't think the chances for BBB are very good, but I'm sure a lot of BBB members will give it their all in this upcoming fight. Whoever turns out the winner, I congratulate them ahead of time. But regardless, I'm sure it's going to be fun for everyone. Hopefully not too many drama, but if anyone does record, other players will get to see what a clash at the highest level looks like. Although this time will be kind of going the opposite way as the video I recorded from back then. So back then, BBB turned out to be the winner, but this time it might be very different. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I do look forward to more contenders within the general bracket. And yeah, it's not going to be an easy climb for sure. Any advice I would give is probably to establish your resource processing setup. So have a lot of farms to gather resources for you, but more importantly, have a lot of farms to gather healing for you. Now is more important than ever with this event coming back only once a month. But yeah, just assume that your enemy NXS can, all their top players, I mean, they can gather up to 500, more like up to 700 heals every single day. That is your challenge. All right, I'll see everyone in my next video. It's probably going to be something interesting as well, and something I've been looking forward to finding out for a long time, and that is the exact percentage of these blank hero shards. I've been saving my recycling materials for a long time now, so I'm looking forward to making this next video when we have this event. I meant to have this video out like 2 weeks ago when we got the recycling event, but yeah, my laptop died again. And this laptop is kind of temporary. Hopefully I'll be able to get a better one soon enough. All right, I will see everyone in my next video. Take care.